Hello, everybody. December brings some rather intense astrology as we approach a solar eclipse in Purva Ashada Nakshatra on the 26th of December. That coincides with an intensifying conjunction between Saturn and Pluto in Uttada Ashada. If you'd like to know more about what this means for you personally, please visit my Astrological services page. Until this Thursday, the 5th of December, all of my pre-recorded consultations are available at a discount of 10% using the discount code WINTERPRE at the link above. So quite often we get so caught up in what we have to do or what we think we have to do, and we completely forget about getting ourselves in the right frame of mind to be able to achieve that very same thing. Instead, we see a situation in terms of A plus B equals C, when in reality, in this wild and crazy universe that we live in, sometimes A plus B doesn't equal C. Sometimes things don't add up logically as much as we might like for them to add up logically. And when you find yourself in a position where you're dealing with a little bit of stress, then things tend to not add up even, or I should say things tend to add up even less, right? And you might be finding yourself in just such a particular state of existence at this particular moment in time. And inside of yourself, it's not so much that your loyalty to a particular situation is being questioned, right? But your loyalty inside of yourself to a particular situation may be coming under review. So let me rephrase that. It's not necessarily that somebody else is questioning your loyalty to a particular situation. It's more that you might be reviewing your own loyalty to a situation and how indeed you need to approach it. Over the course of the coming days between the 7th and say around the 10th of December, you're likely going to find yourself in a position where you're doing what I just said. Around about the 10th, you're likely going to be firmer in your own particular opinion about where your loyalties actually lie. But once you get into that particular space, then it's a question of what on earth to do about it, right? And because you're looking for answers, because you're looking for solutions, and they're not forthcoming in as clear or as lucid of a manner as you might like for them to be, then you're finding yourself in a position where you go, well, I definitely have to try and I have to do something, right? And so then when you begin to find yourself in a position of knowing that you need to try and that you need to do something, and that something that you're doing doesn't bring you the results that you were A, either expecting, or B, that you were hoping for, well, then you begin to feel like, okay, I need to be a little more passionate in my attack on this particular situation, right? I need to amp things up that extra level, because obviously taking them to this level is not accomplishing what I need for it to accomplish. And so you do that. And perhaps the next thing that you find is it's still not working out. So what's going to happen then? Most likely your mind is naturally going to go into a state of doubt. It's going to go into a state of confusion. You may begin to doubt yourself. You may begin to doubt your potential to handle this difficult situation. And that is the point where two different things begin to happen. You may find yourself in a position where A, you're questioning again your loyalty to a particular situation, and B, also because you're trying your best and your best, on a certain level doesn't seem to be good enough, right? Then perhaps other people begin to question your potential to handle that very same situation. So I presented you with the dilemma. So what precisely is the solution? Good question. I don't know. That's enough. Talk to you later. Only kidding. Bye. Only kidding. No, I'm only kidding, right? So here's kind of what you need to do with this. Even though it's going to feel like it's the exact opposite of what you feel you are able to do. Okay? A good thing to work with the nakshatras, but which often go ignored, or people just tend to think of them in terms of working with prashna or identifying the place where something is going to happen, where, with the nakshatras and the place connected to the nakshatras, sure, they can do all of those things, but if you take them symbolically, they give you some pretty important information. And Anuradha nakshatra is connected to a grassy place, right? So what do we usually do at grassy places? First of all, what are grassy places? Well, let's identify a few of those, right? A field is a grassy place. A meadow is a grassy place, right? A grove of trees is a grassy place. But quite often when you get into a forest, that grassy place disappears, and you usually just have more, dirt and things like that when you go into a position where things are a little wilder and things are a little darker. Interestingly enough, Jyeshtha nakshatra, which is where the sun will be transiting during this particular transit, and the sun will be interacting with Mercury, Jyeshtha nakshatra is connected to a jungle. And we can kind of use that equation with the forest, right? So if you go too deeply into that forest, or that wild area, or that wild area inside of your mind, then you're going to find that things are just going to get a little more confusing. And they're just going to get a little more abstract and a little more uncertain, right? But if you go to that grassy place, that place where you're in a wild open field that's filled with potential, you can either see that potential from a space of even deeper confusion because there's too many different options, or you can see that field as a wide open vista with lots of different opportunities. So how do you sort through those opportunities? Well, the best way to sort through those opportunities is to use that grassy place for precisely what it was meant for, which is to relax. Now, I know what you're saying. You're going, I can't relax. I can't relax. I need to achieve something. I need to get results. So where is that getting results coming from? If we want to look at places connected to the nakshatras again, that's Mars in Vishakha nakshatra. That's at the very beginning of this transit, right? Mars is in Vishakha nakshatra. Vishakha is connected to a cotton field, which is connected to a harvest, something that you're needing to harvest in order to produce something, right? That's where the confusion is. Which direction is forward? Do I go this way or do I go back? Do I do this or do I do what I've always done? And you can't get pulled in two different directions like that for too long before your mind becomes split. So in order to rejoin your mind, you need to go to that grassy place. You need to go to that space inside of yourself where you can try to relax. So sure, you're saying to me, how am I going to relax? There's a lot of stressful factors that are impinging upon me. I have to produce a solution. Well, sure, all those things may be the case. But remember, Saturn and Pluto are beginning their conjunction. When that happens, things begin to feel a lot more dramatic. In addition to that, Mercury is going to be interacting first with Mars and then with the Sun. Both of these are the Kshatriya planets. Kshatriya planets are always wanting to do the noble thing. And that's a good thing, but at the same time, their dignity has a tendency to get impacted to a deeper level. They can feel like their honor is threatened. And then they can, well, for lack of a better way to put it, feel that they have to try to summon more strength and summon more nobility, when instead they're perhaps needing to take a bit of a retreat from that battlefield that they're engaging with so that they can see things from a clearer sense of perspective. That's precisely what you're needing to do at this particular moment, even though it may feel to you like you cannot do that. But if you take the time to see things with proper perspective, and Anuradha nakshatra is at the very root of it about proper judgment, right? People think of Anuradha as being connected to devotion, but how are you going to know what to be devoted to if you can't see it clearly? So part of the process of Anuradha nakshatra also relates to that of proper judgment, good discrimination. Equally, Mercury relates to the earth element, which is about the very same thing. So At the moment, you're really needing to see things from the proper perspective, rather than the confused, distorted perspective that you've had on it up until now. And if you can take a moment, even just a tad of a moment, to relax, and if you can't relax, at least try to relax, you're going to find not only your potential to deal with this particular situation, but also the clarity and purpose of vision with which to direct that potential. And if you could use a little bit of help with that process, once again, I'll mention that I do offer several different levels of astrological service that are available through my Astrological Services page. If you're interested in scheduling one of these, most especially before this coming Thursday, the 5th of December at 11 p.m. London time, you can do so and get a 10% discount using the discount code WINTERPRE at the link above. That's going to do it for this look at Mercury's transit through Anuradha Nakshatra from the 7th to the 15th of December 2019. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.